Now, our next teller probably really enjoyed that story because I heard she likes spiders and snakes. But don't worry, the story tonight is not about spiders and snakes. She's going to talk about a lifelong relationship. But if you get a chance, go to her website and listen to some of her stories, like Little Bobby in the School Bus. She's got some fantastic stories out there. So please welcome Catherine Yao Sroda.
Well, that's the truth. I do like spiders and snakes. My husband can attest to that. And all of my life, I wanted to live in the middle of a swamp. That. Mr. Jackson was married, and my mother, widow of 19 years, chaste and circumspect in her solitude. Now, they had grown up together on the same street, tumbled through school together, vied for 4-H ribbons in agronomy and horticulture, and they wound up marrying their best friends. Now, who would have thought of that? They often thought of themselves as double first cousins. Whenever people spoke of them, they would always talk about all 4 people together, but they were conjoined twins. My mother sang her way through our bath times, through preparing meals, and through Sunday afternoon strolls hand in hand with my dad through her neighborhood. Such a cheerful house to grow up in. She hummed, sang a song to herself, as she did of her snooze. It was such a wonderful way to grow. Now, my father, on the alternative, was a World War II veteran of the prisoner of war camp in Germany. And he was sadly depressed and very anxious. Mr. Jackson, in an effort to help calm him, took him fishing. They spent Saturday mornings on the Davidson River, and one would creep silently upstream, casting, while the other fished downstream. At noon, they would sit on a flat rock, their feet dangling over the river, and they would enjoy a fisherman's lunch of Vienna sausages, cheese crackers, and Coca-Colas. Mother and Mrs. Jackson took turns providing their desserts. And that lovely environment, my father's breathing slowly became rhythmic, just like the shadows in the river, the sun-spangled, the green vines trailing down off of the rhododendron-topped banks, and that lightning flash of rainbow trout through the shadows that only the fisherman knows. Very beneficial, my dad, who loved Mr. Jackson. Mrs. Jackson taught my dad's restless hands to crochet beautiful woolen clothes. Now, my mother and Mr. Jackson maintained this friendly rivalry. Oh, they just opened their girth of their pumpkins and Christmas of their pickles at the Macon County Fair every fall. Mr. Jackson would say, my patty pan squash are plumper than yours. And my long greasy beans shinier than yours. My mother arms akimbo and say, listen to these. My heirloom tomatoes are heavier and darker than yours, and my 4-hook limas, perfection themselves. The Jackson sibling and my brother and sister finished college at the University of, Western North Carolina University and North Carolina State University. They moved away from home. They found jobs. They found spouses. They founded households. They didn't come back home. But you know, they were Southern Appalachian people, and they found a way to live in the mountains the rest of their lives. One in the mountains of Colorado, the other in the White Mountains of New Hampshire. One even went across the pond to the Pennines of England. I and my husband and son were the only members of the family who remained at home in Franklin. Slowly at first, insidiously, and then developing a painful, bewildering speed, dementia overtook Mrs. Jackson, and that precious relationship with my mother was broken forever. They had spoken 2 and 3 times a day on the telephone. And then every afternoon they would meet over the back fence that separated their 2 yards. They had joined together, just like our lives to theirs. The magic circle was forever broken when my dad died after a long relationship with cancer. It was only the 2 of them now, Mother and Mr. Jackson. They would spend afternoons sitting at her kitchen table drinking coffee and sometimes a little glass of garnet colored wine. There was not much conversation now, not much laughter between them. Everything had been said. There was this pure intimacy, born of years, knowledge of habits, idiosyncrasies, and preferences. And just a beautiful, sweet presence between the 2. Had such a long relationship all the way back to Mama Ray's school. At the closing of the day, I stopped by unannounced to check on my mother. I got off of it, and I found Mr. Jackson near his usual spot at the table, a smile of quiet presence in his face. Now, he had been spending quite a lot of time there. And his entree to her kitchen was always a peach basket filled with produce from his garden. In the springtime, emerald crisp snow peas peered out from beyond collections of colorful satiny lettuces punctuated by round rosy radishes and startlingly white daikons. The summer basket brought heaps of ripe, beautiful beefsteak tomatoes and stalwart ears of yellow corn with silvery silks and some green scallions. Crisp Jonathan apples came followed by frost-kissed cabbages and turnip greens, and his roots brought forth winter-stored king-baked potatoes and hearty squash. Sometimes just a single perfect rosy peach on cobalt blue plate, or a handful of dark colored rings tied together with a red string bow sat on the table. But on this afternoon, I stopped by. There was a small basket of cucumbers, his tribute, sitting there before. A sudden beam of sunshine pierced the lace at the kitchen window and created a magical nimbus of sparkling gold about her silver head. Mr. Jackson stood and without a single glance in my direction, walked around the table and bent tenderly over my mother's hand, his eyes lifting slowly. In that moment, I saw the identity that had sustained and glorified my mother for 20 years and perhaps even longer. I saw him. I saw her, the 19-year-old vegetable mistress.